Hello everyone! After playing the game for, my god, 95 hours and 10 days, and making 13 guide and gameplay videos, I'm ready to give my review of Marvel Rivals. As a side note, I do have the other 6 guide and gameplay videos recorded and ready to edit, but interest in those videos has dropped off a cliff since the alpha closed. Not a surprise there. So I'm going to save those for when the beta come out. And today, I'm going to give you my positives and negatives for the game and give you some suggestions on what I think could be added. So if you want to know if this is a game you should play when the beta comes out, stay tuned. Marvel Rivals is a 6v6 hero shooter similar to Overwatch and Valorant. You choose a character from an extensive roster, and each one has unique weapons and abilities. Every character also has an ultimate that they have to charge up before they can unleash it upon their foes and completely change the course of a battle. There are 2 teams that fight over objectives which change based on which map you're sent to. This is all pretty standard for hero shooters, but there are a few aspects of Marvel Rivals that set it apart from the other games in the genre. First off is the Marvel IP. Marvel is one of the biggest franchises on the planet, and most of its comics, TV shows, video games have been a huge success. So when you look at a roster of characters, you aren't overwhelmed. It's the main reason I don't play Overwatch. Where do I begin with these characters? What do they do? What are their playstyles? What are they capable of? And not just for the character I want to play, but what are my enemies capable of? Well, if you know Marvel, you can guess that Spider-Man's gonna swing in and punch people and web them up. Hulk is gonna jump on you and smash your brains. Iron Man's gonna sit back and blast you, and Rocket Raccoon's gonna toss out some gadgets. I mean, there are some characters and roles you wouldn't expect, like Doctor Strange being a tank who looks like he went through the P90X program, or Loki being a healer, but for the most part, you can expect to know how a character fights just by knowing them from other media. Also, unlike other hero shooters, most of these characters have powers as their weapon, not guns. Sure, their weapons still work like guns and that they have ammo, fire rate, and need to be reloaded, but it doesn't feel like powered people with guns, it feels like powered people using their powers. My only complaint here is, why does Groot have ammo? He just extends his arm? Why does he have to reload his arm? It's really bizarre. The second aspect of this game that sets it apart from other hero shooters is the third-person perspective. I think third-person is the way to go with these games, since the point is to play a unique, powerful individual, so I want to see that individual do stuff. I don't want it hidden behind a first-person camera. Especially since the game will be free to play and it's going to make its money back in skins, I want to see those skins. Third person is also better for melee characters. I don't know how it can handle this. Or this gameplay if it were in first person. It would make me sick. Marvel has a lot of melee characters in its gallery, so I think this is the right move. My only complaint is that there's no way to zoom in at all, so long-range characters have some difficulty aiming, and I don't like that my character's always on the left side of the screen. This makes leaning out from corners on your left safer than corners on your right. There should be a way for me to invert which side my character is on. Destructible environments also make this game unique by comparison. Certain structures in the game can be destroyed if damaged. This makes the maps evolve over the course of a match, which is a ton of fun. My only complaint is that they are pre-broken and not dynamic, which means Hela's pinpoint accurate blade knocks out the same chunk of wall as Hulk's massive fist. On top of that, the destroyed terrain eventually rebuilds itself, and they come back way too quickly in my opinion. It defeats the purpose of taking out a wall if it's just gonna reform in a minute or two. And the fourth way this game separates itself from its competitors is through team-ups. If you have 2 specific characters on a team, they gain a special bonus unique to that pairing. It's a really cool idea that plays well into the Marvel universe. However, I have some problems with this system. First off, some characters don't have a team up at all, and it kind of sucks that I don't get to engage with this crucial part of the game. Second, some of these abilities don't make logical sense. Like Black Panther and Magic. Why does Magic only gain this portal ability when Panther is on your team? She clearly has the power to do it whenever she wants, and he doesn't help her make the portal, he just has to be around? And why is he the only one who can use it? It should just be a thing she can do, and some characters, like Panther, get to use it. My third issue with team-ups is that some of them are just boring and require you to do nothing, like Bruce Banner paired with Iron Man and or Doctor Strange. In the trailer, it showed Hulk firing a gamma blast to power up Iron Man, which I thought was cool, but in the alpha, this power-up is just always on, and you don't have to do anything to get it. Now that we've gone over what makes it different from the other hero shooters, let's go over some more positives and negatives for the game. I love the art style. The shell-shaded characters and certain 2D effects make it look like the game was ripped right out of a comic book. The main menu and screen navigation is smooth and eye-catching. The sound and terrain design is just beautiful, and I like how they're trying to tie a story into each mission. This shows that the designers really care about this game, and they put a lot of love and effort into it. There's even controller support, and they actually took the time to make kits work on a controller. For example, Hulk's super jump requires you to hold down the button in order to charge it, while on a controller that would be very difficult to do while holding the A button and moving the right joystick. So they made the left trigger super jump. There are definitely some issues with this game, some of which I've already mentioned, but I'm sure a lot of these will be addressed eventually. The biggest criticism I have is a lack of gameplay diversity. Basically, every mission just boils down to run to some point and fight over it. Sometimes that point moves, but it's just the same gameplay loop. I would love to see a multi-point capture map, or a capture the flag map, or something entirely different to keep each game feeling fresh. I also think the balance in this game is way off. Punisher feels like an easy MVP machine, while Spidey and Black Panther feel like I have to take a 2-year course just to learn how to play them with very little payoff. I also don't like that there are only 3 classes. I get that this is how other hero shooters do it, but it feels weird that Black Panther and Spider-Man are in the same class as Punisher and Iron Man. You could easily split each class into 2. Brawlers could be tough and high damage, but they have limited range and ability to protect their allies, like Hulk or Juggernaut, while the Vanguard focus on defense and protecting others, like Magneto and Doctor Strange. Duelists could be melee damage dealers, like Magic and maybe Wolverine, while Rangers could be long-range damage dealers like Iron Man and Hela. Strategists could be focused on buffing allies and controlling enemies, while medics would be focused on healing. These may just be labels, but I think it would make the game more accessible and different while creating interesting team comps that aren't just the same 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healer. I also have some issues with some individual abilities, and I don't want to get too nitpicky here, but there's one I absolutely have to talk about. Doctor Strange's portal sucks. Not only is it clunky to use, but it lags the entire game down when it's created. If you cancel the move, you don't make a portal, and it still goes on its ridiculous 180-second cooldown. Sometimes it looks like you can just walk through the portal, but the edges just barely above the ground, so you can't. If you're the defending team, you can create a portal that opens into a death fall and place the other entrance over the attacker's opening. This instantly kills people who just rush out, or at the very least funnels them into the other exit and makes it easier to pick them off. I have a similar issue where Penny Parker just drops 6 mines in front of an exit and insta-kills the first person who walks out. Maybe certain abilities shouldn't be available until the game actually starts. I don't know. Now, I also have some ideas on what I think they could add to the game. It would require them to have a larger roster, but I would love a draft mode. I really dislike playing against the same hero I picked. It leads to boring gameplay, and it feels like it kind of ruins the story for Doctor Strange to be fighting another Doctor Strange. I also hate having to rush and pick the character I want as fast as possible before someone else takes it. And in draft mode would solve this. It would make games start slower and should only be used for ranked, but I think it would improve the ranked experience. And I think team-ups make a draft mode really compelling. Imagine your opponent picks Groot. Now, when it's your turn, are you going to pick Rocket to deny him his team up and then pick Punisher to team up with Rocket? Or do you just let him have the other team have Rocket and focus on a different team up? I think it would add a nice dynamic to a draft mode. This would force players to play the same character for an entire game, but I'm actually really okay with that. In fact, I'd prefer it. I'm really tired of people switching characters constantly. My other idea might be a little too far out there, but I would love some sort of customizational builds. Maybe you get 3 slots that you can put items into before the game, and the items give you bonuses, like more weapon damage, faster ult charge, extra movement speed, more health, and so on? Or what if we gave characters multiple abilities that you could swap with their current ones, allowing you to alter their kit? I would just like something that changes up my experience so that not every game with one character feels the same and I can switch up my builds. It could also make creating content for the game more interesting, as creators could make videos of different builds for the same character. So what's my final verdict on Marvel Rivals? If I had to give it a number ranking, I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. It has some good ideas and decent gameplay, but if this is the game they release in a year, I probably won't play it much. It needs more maps, more characters, and a deeper level of engagement in the beta, or it's just gonna disappear behind its competition. If you like Marvel or hero shooters in general, you should at least check it out, but in its current state, I wouldn't recommend it to the casual gamer who just wants to play a fun game with friends. And that's my review. If you liked what I had to say here, hit the like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you hated my takes, let me know in the comments below. This game has a bright future, but it has many steps to take if it wants to reach it. Thanks again, and hopefully you'll check out the next video.